Successful tires, the Goodyear Eagles.
All of these championship-winning drivers have one thing in common: Goodyear Racing Eagles. The race-winning technology that's found in the Goodyear Racing Eagles can also be found in the world's best-selling line of high-performance street tires, Goodyear Eagle Street Radials. The champions know, and it's why we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
One car manufacturer has more NASCAR victories than anyone, winning over 350 NASCAR races over 4 decades of racing. That car manufacturer is Ford. And that kind of winning performance goes beyond the winner's circle.
Cold filtered, Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its real draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
For high performance that doesn't stop when the rain starts, Aerofoil is the first true aerodynamic blade. At speeds as low as 50 miles an hour, the wind can cause your wiper blades to lose direct contact with the windshield. But Aerofoil's wind channel ports, aerodynamically engineered like an airplane wing, create the downward force needed to counteract wind liftoff and maintain the ideal rain sweeping pressure. For maximum wet weather visibility when you need it the most. Aerofoil, the leading edge in wiper technology.
Going into Speed Weeks here at the Daytona International Speedway, Kenny Schrader was tied with the late Fireball Roberts and Bill Elliott with 3 Busch poles in a row here. They had an opportunity to break out of that and be the only man to ever win 4 poles for the Daytona 500 in a row, but didn't quite work.
When the teams unloaded here, there were some Fords that were very quick, a couple of other surprises, but Kenny Schrader knew before qualifying, Ned, that he definitely had his hands full.
You're not going to win the 500 if you weren't fast enough to have a shot at the pole. You know, I mean, they go hand in hand. You're either fast or you're not at Daytona, you know.
Ken Schrader's run at the record was certainly in the spotlight. But as we closed in on qualifying, Schrader's attempt became a sidebar. The big story was speed, and the headliners were Davey Allison, Ernie Irvan, and Harry Gant. Bill Elliott, dressed in new blue, led the long line of 59. However, Bill was anything but a bullet, and Wallace was also a bit rusty. Irvan ran 4th and set a target for the rest of the field to aim at, 195.639 miles an hour. Dale Earnhardt was next, but more than a mile an hour slower. Davey drove off and took aim on the target. His new neon numbers were not very tasteful, but his speed was mouthwatering, 195.955 miles an hour, 0.3 of a mile an hour faster than Irvan. Now the rest waited. 52 cars had to battle a warm sun, a gusting wind, and a shining star. Gant's run was good, but not good enough. Harry's handsome 195.465 left him 3rd. The line got shorter, the track warmer.
I knew Davey was the guy that's been setting the pace in practice during the week. It's going to be tough to beat. You know, we could run 2 laps, we might have them, but they don't give us but 1 lap, and everybody's in the same boat. But we'll take what we can get, but it looks like we'll probably be able to run about a 20. I'm hoping for a flat, but we'll see.
Rudd's new number 5 was fast enough to finish 7th. Richard Petty was 56th in line.
You know, just some place to start for next Thursday's race, and then it's how we finish up in that race is how we start the race anyway. But main deal is that we want to run fast enough to make the race, and then we'll work on it from there.
The King clipped off a lap of 193.3, 14th fastest. Schrader was next, but he was more focused on the 500 instead of a possible record-setting run at the pole.
Davey ran a real good lap, and we haven't been quite that fast yet. And we got a little bit left, but I don't know if we got enough left. We'll just have to find out.
Any thoughts of the record running through your mind?
No, that's not. We're just worried about the race. That's 4 poles would be nice, but it wouldn't be near as important as winning this thing Sunday.
The Kodiak car finished 8th, and Allison was on the pole, with Irvin outside row 1.
You know, we're down here for 12 days, and with a lot of stuff going on, the only thing that we could be doing this year that we're not is being in the Busch Clash. We didn't win a pole last year, but now we know we're in it for next year.
This week's edition of The Mailbox is brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft.
Steve, our question today comes from Cheryl Ray Peters of Newmarket, Tennessee, who writes, how does the gas man know when the car is full of gas?
Well, Cheryl Ray, for that answer, we'll go to Danny Chocolate Myers, who is Dale Earnhardt's gas man.
Thanks for writing in, Cheryl Ray. The way you can tell the car is full of gas is right on the very back of the car. It's got an overflow vent that comes out of it. And the guy standing back there with the small catch can, when I see the gas coming out of the car and into the catch can, I know the tank is full and it's overfilling, and that's why we tell it's full.
If your question is used on the air, you'll receive a free IWCR cap and t-shirt from the new Pit Shop catalog featuring top-quality racing clothing, jewelry, and home video cassettes. If you'd like to receive a copy of the Pit Shop brochure, join the IWCR Sports Club, or to place an order, call 1-800-692-7777. Remember, Sports Club members receive a full 10% discount on all Pit Shop purchases.
We need to take a short break. Still to come on this edition of Inside Winston Cup Racing are highlights of the Busch Clash, and we'll take a look at some of the new teams in Winston Cup Racing this year.
And that in particular, Sterling Marlin is with Junior Johnson for a 2-car operation, and Randy talks to Sterling about the upcoming season.
You know, the opportunity to drive for Junior, I'd always wanted to do it, and back when I first started racing, him and Kale was pretty much killing him every week, and you know, I just, at the time, you know, I said if I ever, you know, make it to Winston Cup, I'd like to drive for Junior.
The year was 1957. Ike was in the White House, and America was enjoying itself. We swooned over Elvis and rocked around the clock. Fast food and fast cars were the new entertainment, and the 57 Chevrolet Bel Air became America's dream machine. Recognized as a classic, the 57 Chevy remains one of America's most sought-after cars. No automobile in history more perfectly represented the wild, carefree spirit of its time. And now, the Danbury Mint has recaptured that spirit in this meticulously engineered die-cast metal replica of the 1957 Chevy Bel Air convertible. Truly a legend you can hold in your hands, this exquisite replica is a masterpiece of craftsmanship. Its body, chassis, drivetrain, and engine block are all crafted in heavy die-cast metal. The body hand-sanded and painted, oven-baked, buffed, then painted and baked again. More than 150 parts are inspected, then hand-assembled. When completed, it's hand-waxed and inspected once more before delivery. Meticulous in every detail, doors open and close. The hood lifts, revealing its history-making 283 cubic inch V8. Why, even turn the steering wheel and the front wheels respond. Perfect in every detail, from its golden grille and headlamp eyebrows to its sweeping tail fins and backup lights. From the undercarriage, more authentic detail, right down to the spare tire well. This extraordinary replica is available exclusively from the Danbury Mint and is not sold in stores, yet it is priced well below what you'd expect to pay for a replica of this superb quality. So use your credit card and call this toll-free number now. We'll send you your car and charge your account just $29.50 a month plus shipping for 3 months. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. Call now to bring back those precious memories with your replica of the 57 Chevy Bel Air convertible, the car that personifies that free spirit of the 50s.
Call now. The number is 1-800-767-1300. That's 1-800-767-1300.
Saturday, March 2nd, 1 p.m. Eastern. Sunday, March 3rd, noon Eastern. TNN cameras roll live at The Rock. The Good Wrench 200. The Good Wrench 500.
March the 2nd and 3rd, NASCAR comes to TNN live.
A weekend of live NASCAR racing at The Rock. Live from Rockingham, North Carolina. The Good Wrench 200, the Good Wrench 500. March 2nd and 3rd, only on TNN Motorsports.
Ned, one of the strongest teams in 1991 may be the one that features Sterling Marlin as the driver, Junior Johnson the car owner, and Mike Beam as a crew chief, which may be kind of surprising considering that Sterling has never won a points race.
Well, he has come awfully close. He has been with some good teams in past years, and this just might be the best opportunity he's ever had.
Like you say, you know, not slow to the bar. Get to a 16th and just mess around.
With Sterling Marlin now added to the Junior Johnson stables, the team now has 2 opportunities to travel to victory lane in any given race. Jeff Bodine did it 3 times last season in a solo effort. 1991 will still see a solo effort in a Tim Brewer-led organization, but much like the Hendrick teams of Rudd and Schrader, these 2 teams will share everything, and they're determined and optimistic about its potential.
You know, Randy, you can make just about anything work if you want to, or you can make it not work. And we're both determined. Both these teams are determined to make it work. We work together. We share information. We test together. If something needs to be tested, one team can go like to Talladega and test it, and if it works, it gets applied to the other car. So we can do a lot of things that a single team can't do. We can be testing and working at the shop at the same time. So we think it's going to work out really good for us, and we are determined to make it work.
You know, it seemed like when it was first announced it was going to be a 2-car team, a lot of people were skeptical of, oh, you know, there's going to be some friction there between you and Jeff. But actually, it seemed like you guys are getting along pretty well.
Yeah, it's, you know, like stuff at Daytona that, you know, they could try on their car, concentrate, and we was trying stuff on ours, and, you know, at the end of the day, compare notes and see what did what. And, you know, the deal is Junior and Flossie on both cars, and, you know, if we make cars from 1-2 each week, you know, we'll make them money and us money. So, you know, the deal on testing it, they limit you 7 times once the season starts. So, you know, we can go somewhere and try something, and if it works, we can come back and tell 11 bunch or vice versa. So I think it'll work out good.
Sterling will have tested at no less than 5 tracks before taking his very first green flag of the 1991 season, including those of North Wilkesboro, Daytona, Talladega, Richmond, and Rockingham, all in hopes of getting himself in tune with a new crew chief, a new car owner, and a renewed opportunity.
You know, the opportunity to drive for Junior, I'd always wanted to do it, and back when I first started racing, him and Cagle was pretty much killing him every week, and you know, I just, at the time, you know, I said if I ever, you know, make the Winston Cup, I'd like to drive for Junior, and, you know, the opportunities came, and, you know, Max Klaus come in the picture and put the deal together, and forwards behind us, so it's everything just fell into place for us.
Will there be there's got to be somewhat of a learning curve. You got a lot of new guys that are over there at Junior Johnson for your team, including crew chief Mike Beam. Is there going to be a little learning curve there for you guys to get to know each other?
I don't believe so. You know, all the guys are aggressive. Mike's real aggressive. You know, just want the car to go faster than I am, and I've known Mike a long time. He used to come to Nashville with Butch Lindley, and you know, we just snotty-nosed kids back in. And you know, Mike's been around a long time. He's real sharp on the car, and you know, I'm really, like I said, I'm really looking forward to the season get started.
You know, I'm looking forward to it. You know, the Maxwell House people, you know, they're great to work with, you know, and Ford and Sterling. So I think, you know, I think that we'll have a good year. You know, I feel like if hard work pays off, I know that we should do well.
Combine that with the feeling of pride in working for the sport's second all-time winning car owner, and those are ingredients for success.
In a transition year and all, you got a 2-year deal with Junior. What would make a good 1991 season, you think?
I think if, you know, realistic, if you could win, you know, 2 or 3 races and finish up in top 5 in points and, you know, settle on 2 or 3 poles for a first season team. But, you know, you look back at what Earnhardt done last year, win 9, you know, you'd love to win them all. But, you know, the competition is so tough today, and just, you know, little minor things that can happen during the race and knocks out. It's, you know, you look back at my career, should have won 3, 4, 5 races, and just stuff has happened. But you can't let it bother. Just keep coming.
Next week here on Inside Winston Cup Racing, it's the Super Bowl of NASCAR. We'll bring you all the exciting action from the Great American Race, the Daytona 500.
And we'll have the highlights from some of the most exciting racing here at Speed Weeks, the twin 125-mile qualifiers. 2 very important races because positions 3 through 30 for the Daytona 500 are determined.
And the Grand National season gets underway with the running of the Goodies 300 here at Daytona. We'll have the complete Speed Week's 1991 recap next week on Inside Winston Cup Racing.
Ned, since 1979, the Busch Clash has kicked off the racing festivities here in Daytona Beach. It's a sprint race featuring the pole winners from the previous season that pays a lot of money. No difference this year except for the format.
Yeah, they did change the format. In the past, they ran 20 laps flat out. Well, this year, they divided it into two segments. One 10-lap segment, paid good money at the end of that, and then at the end of 10 laps, they reversed the field. Well, Dale Earnhardt won the first 10-lapper, and it didn't matter what the concept was. The man had been in 6 Busch Clashes and has won 4 of them now.
Are you guys teammates here? Teammates?
Do we look like teammates? He's dressed in black and I'm dressed in white.
Who's gonna help who out here today?
I'm gonna help Mellow. He's gonna give me a mellow yellow, and I'm gonna help him.
I'm gonna give him a mellow yellow from McDonald's so he can take it over to the Western Steer, and we're just gonna go over there and have a steak as soon as this thing's over with.
It'll be over with pretty quick too. Any strategy at all here, Kyle?
Not for me. Just stay out of the wall and come back alive.
How about you, Dale?
We're going to race, go for it. You know, I think we'll try to go for both of them.
Defending Daytona 500 champion Derek Cope was hoping that he would be dealt another ace as he led the 20-lap race off into turn 1. But he was snookered by Bodine and Earnhardt as they led the next time around, with Alan Kawicki in his Army colors having his sights set on the 2 leaders. Once again, Dale Earnhardt looked good cruising out front in his Goodwrench Chevrolet, while the rest of the field was in a big battle for position. Ernie Irvin and Ken Schrader dueled their way through the field and finally got to within range of Earnhardt. But as Dale was heading for his first paycheck of the season, worth $25,000 at the halfway mark, Jeff Bodine was heading through the infield after getting tapped from behind. A 2-lap caution gave all the drivers an opportunity to work on their cars. Most of the teams elected to take on 4 tires only. That included Dale Earnhardt in the Goodwrench Chevrolet. Ernie Irvin's team had a little extra work that they thought they would apply to the Kodak number 4 Chevy. With the inverted order, Earnhardt started dead last, and by the second lap of the second half, he had hooked up with helper Mark Martin, and they made their move to the front in a return of last year's form. As they were sailing along, suddenly Derek Cope couldn't keep it underneath him and hammered the Hendrick cars of both Rudd and Schrader. Cope smashed his Purelator Chevy into the wall. Both he, Rudd, and Schrader were all done from the day from the big crash in the Busch Clash. With 8 laps to go after the green, both Dale and Mark Martin busted out. But 2 laps later, Bodine, Bill, and Rusty ran them down. And those 5 would run nose to tail to the finish, Earnhardt picking up his 4th career victory in the Busch Clash.
The air was working just right. The car was working. Came in behind Bodine, got by him down at the end of the back straightaway. I just couldn't believe we were in front in 2 laps. But this wasn't too bad at all, you know, and I had a lot of doubts all week that we could do that because I'd practiced with Mark and some of the cars and Elliott, and they were strong.
The RJR Tobacco Company announced here at Daytona that they will join forces with 5 drivers in paying a tribute to the troops in the Gulf. Those 5 drivers will have their cars painted up like the armed forces. Greg Sachs will be in the Navy car. Dave Marcus will have Coast Guard. Alan Kawicki will be dressed up in the Army colors. Buddy Baker will be driving for the Marine Corps, and Mickey Gibbs will be flying the Air Force colors. We talked to those drivers about the tribute to our men and women in the Gulf.
You know, it'll give them a little something maybe to take their minds off of the hardships they're going through right now, which that's good. You know, I think that for them as well as their families at home, their children at home, and their wives and husbands at home. And, you know, I just hope that we don't make the Marines or the Army or the Navy or the Coast Guard mad when the Air Force wins this thing.
Hopefully it'll be a morale booster for them. I remember watching some of the troops over there watching the Super Bowl, and, you know, that probably was a high point of their day. I believe this is going to be televised live to the troops over there, and if they can actually see cars with their division on it, I hope it'll be a bright spot in their day.
Well, those aren't the only unique colors that'll be flying here at the Daytona International Speedway. Steve Burns now takes a poetic look at the big picture and all the changes in colors and cars for 1991.
We'll start at the beginning and work our way up. There are so many changes in Winston Cup. Rick Mast is the new pilot of car number 1. This team could surprise and spoil somebody's fun. Rusty is back, but in car number 2. The sponsor's the same, as is much of his crew. 5 is the number of this Chevy ride, but Ricky Rudd is the driver, sponsored by Tide. Rick Wilson is hoping to celebrate his first win ever in car number 8. The number's the same, the sponsor is 2, but it does seem strange. Bill Elliott in blue. Darrell Waltrip steps forward as a car owner. Who pays the bills? Western Auto's the donor. Sammy Swindell has experience aplenty, but in a sprint car, not number 20. Junior signed Sterling to the ride of his life. Through the air, this T-Bird will cut like a knife. Mickey Gibbs sits tall in car 24. Barry Dotson is hoping he'll race door to door. Michael Waltrip is hungry for his first checkered flag. With a sponsor like Pennzoil, it might be in the bag. Mellow Yellow's colors are neon green, red, and black. Kyle Petty won't be hard to see on the track. Newcomers Ted Musgrave, Rich Bickle, and Jeff Purvis are in the big time and probably nervous. Country Time Lemonade keeps chasing the checkered, but now Bobby Hamilton is the driver of record. Joe Ruttman returns to sit in the seats of the cars that are sponsored by Dinner Bell Meats. Robbie Gordon is young and may have the touch. Maybe that explains why Ford loves him so much. Terry Labonte has a good story. He returns to the team that brought him great glory. Jimmy Spencer's right foot has been known to be heavy. Can Travis Carter provide a fast Chevy?
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Hope you enjoyed the show, and you be sure to be with us here next week.
As we'll continue our Speed Weeks 91 coverage. And Ned, a reminder, on March 2nd and 3rd, TNN will televise the Busch Grand National Race and then the Winston Cup event from Rockingham, North Carolina, the North Carolina Motor Speedway.
But we'll see you here next week.
Today's show has been brought to you by Ford and your local Ford dealer, winning the world over with 1991 trucks that are built Ford tough. By Miller Genuine Draft, cold filtered for real draft taste. So get out of the old, get into the cold. And by Goodyear, maker of the world's most successful tires, the Goodyear Eagles. Communications for Inside Winston Cup Racing Crew provided by Racing Radios, Forest Park, Georgia, the official communications of NASCAR. Transportation for Inside Winston Cup Racing is provided by Fleetwood Enterprises, makers of a full line of excellent recreational vehicles. And by your Carolina Ford dealer. Nobody outsells Ford in the Carolinas.
Later, Earnhardt lost it and KO'd Allison and Petty. The race ended under caution with Ernie Irvin in front for his first ever Daytona 500 victory. In the final rundown, Sterling Marlin was second, Joe Ruttman third, Rick Mast fourth, and hard luck Dale Earnhardt fifth. This is Mark Allen reporting for TNN Motorsports Magazine.
All right, Mark Allen, Bill Hennessy up along with me. What about this afternoon as far as anything just really out of the ordinary?
Dale Earnhardt's continuing problems at Daytona. You saw in the story various problems that he had, then his wreck. What does this man have to do to win the race? Obviously, he had a strong car today. Then he has all sorts of early problems. He had a stop-and-go penalty thrown in there. This man already said that, hey, I'm looking forward to the 1992 Daytona 500. So he's already got a good attitude about what he has to do for next year.
Bill Hennessy, Dale Earnhardt?
Darrell Waltrip's problems continue here at Daytona with turn 4. Another incident there kind of took his chances away from winning today. I was impressed with Joe Ruttman's run, though, finishing third in the event.
We're going to get a chance to talk with him in just a few moments. Right now, we're going to take this time out. We'll be back to Daytona International Speedway right after this.
It's your boss on the phone. He says, do you still work here or not?
I called the airline like you said, and
sure there's a later flight. Tomorrow.
When you just can't wait to get started, start with the Champion from Walmart. Pound for pound, the most powerful automotive battery you can buy. Just $49.96 at Walmart every day.
There's smoke, there's fire. The surefire performance of AC Delco. We don't just race, we win.
Interested in joining a fan club? Call 1-900-FUN on TNN to find out how. Hear from your favorite artists and listen in on the exciting events you can participate in. Each call costs 95 cents per minute.
Her real name was Brenda Gale Webb, but she became famous as Loretta Lynn, Brenda Lee, or Crystal Gale. Think you know? Call 1-900-FUN on TNN and test your knowledge of country music trivia. You could win great prizes. Each call costs 95 cents per minute.
Catch Bill Dance Outdoors as Bill guides you through a half hour of fishing instruction, education, and just some plain down-home fun. Let Bill teach you his techniques for locating and catching a wide variety of fish. Bill Dance Outdoors is brought to you in part by Minn Kota Electric Fishing Motors. Bill Dance Outdoors, Sports Sunday at 2 and 9:30 p.m. Eastern on TNN.
Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway on a Daytona 500 by STP afternoon. It's all over with, and the man that is sitting on my left brings his machine home in second place. Sterling Marlin, congratulations, an excellent run this afternoon, and what a way to start the year off.
It was max class forward. It worked good early in the race, and we just couldn't get it the chassis right toward the end, from like the last 100 laps, and we kept working on it, and never could get it right. But the guys done a good job, and you know, second's better than third, and we was wanting to win it. No, Ernie, he got the missing down here, won it 3 and 4, and I thought he was going to run out of gas, and we'd win anyway, but we tried.
Did you think you'd have this kind of day? Did you really think the car was good enough to stay in contention all day as it was?
I knew yesterday evening we had a real good shot to win the race. We could run like a 46-80 by ourselves, and the car drove good, and you don't know what the deal is. If it's radio tires, just all of a sudden they'll start pushing, and you know, everybody was pushing. A few of them was loose. Kyle was pushing, and it was just I don't know what we're going to have to do to correct it for July.
Kyle Petty, you had it hooked up today, my friend. I mean, you really had it running good. That last incident, the accident with Dale Earnhardt, but you were headed to the front again. Could you have won this race today? You feel like you had the car for it?
We had a good car. You know, it's, you know, things like that happen, so you never know whether you get a shot at winning it until you cross the start-finish line. That's about the way it is. But, you know, we were fortunate enough to lead a lot of the race. We were real pleased for our sponsor, Meliala, because this was their first big race. And, you know, I told them last night you couldn't hit the wall 5 times here on the last lap like they do in the movie and still win the race. I pretty much proved it out there. But, you know, we had a good run.
Well, I want to ask you both this question. Was it confusing during the day, the pit thing? It appeared as we watched the race that there was confusion, but I don't want to necessarily say that the reason it finished under caution or anything else was because of the pit strategy or the new pit rules. But Kyle, your reflections as far as how it affected you today?
Well, yeah, I'm not so sure it was confusing. I think what it was is everybody was checking gas mileage, trying to figure what they were doing early. You know, the thing is, if you pit and change tires, you lose a lap. And nobody wanted to do that, so everybody was real afraid. We run the whole race, run 500 miles on one set of left side tires. We never changed left side tires from the time we put them on this morning. So what happens is you get down to the end of the race and everybody's ready to race, and you've got 10 laps or 5 laps left, and you got a big shootout, and everybody's on tires that's got 200, 250 miles on them. It makes it real squirrely, and you know, that's what happened with Dale. It just got away from him a little bit. You know, the rules are good. They protect everybody on pit road, but you know, we've got a lot of tore up cars and a lot of hurt pride out here because we never got to come in and change tires.
You had an excellent run, a great day for you. You led the most laps out there. Sterling, a fantastic afternoon for you and you guys finishing second, and congratulations to you both on a great showing down here at Daytona. The man who won the race talked with our Bill Hennessy in victory lane.
Well, I tell you, I owe it to this team, man. At Daytona, the car has to be the car to win the race, and they gave me a car that could do it. You know, them guys worked 3 months on this one race car and enabled me to have a car that could do this, and I tell you, it's unbelievable. This Kodak film, Delco Remy, AC Sparkplug Chevrolet, ran better than anybody's car on the racetrack. I felt we were the fastest car all day. We just kept getting behind, and we just never gave up and just happened to win.
On your last restart, did you see what happened in the rearview mirror?
Yeah, I could see it. You know, I got by Dale on the second lap of the restart, and I kept looking at my mirror, and him and Davies running side by side. And I knew if they stayed side by side that I could stay ahead of them, you know, and they were staying that way because Davey didn't want to give up, Dale didn't want to give up. I kept trying to move down so Dale could draft up on me, and it looked like Dale just got loose. I don't know if somebody got him from behind or what, but Dale usually don't spin out by himself.
Your personal thoughts on your highlight of your career?
I tell you, man, I hadn't even had a chance to even think about it, but, you know, this is the most awesome win anybody can have in the United States, and you know, we owe it all to our troops, you know, the overseas. If it wasn't for them doing what they're doing, we couldn't be doing what we're doing today.
Well, congratulations from everyone at TNN.
Thank you.
All right, we are back upstairs now after the race is complete here, the Daytona 500 by STP, and a great, great race it was. Joining me up here as well, another man who had a great, great afternoon, Joe Ruttman. You weren't even at this race last year in a race car, and here you come back this year, and you and Butch Mock, Bob Rahilly have put together a solid team, and what a great run for you today.
Well, I think what really happened was that everyone thought I died and went to wherever, but fortunately the car owners, Butch and Bob and Dinnerbell, come along and hung in there with me and took a chance, and all the railbirds said, geez, why are you putting this guy in? So, you know, I think from a gratification standpoint, this is probably the most important race of my career, because I think that everyone's standing back saying, hey, can this guy really do it? Butch and Bob had confidence, and Dinnerbell had confidence because they wouldn't have went with me, but I think everybody else along the pit wall saying, hey, you know, this guy has not run much here in the last 2.5 years, and they don't realize I was on the sidelines trying to put something together, but consequently, the bottom line to the deal was I'm thrilled, tickled beyond words.
Same question I had for you that I did for Kyle and for Sterling. Confusion as far as the way the pits were run today, or are we just dealing with something for the first time and it's just going to take a while to learn it?
Well, in my case, Pat, I had a little bit of an infraction early, which caused me to kind of get out of sync with everybody. The 3-car and myself went out of the pits, and apparently we blended too quick. We both had to make a stop and go, and fortunately he was there to run with to keep me from getting the lap. And now that changed our whole strategy toward the race. Mm-hmm. So as it turned out, perhaps it was a godsend to us personally, because we didn't want to change tires because we were running as hard as we could trying to catch up. So in our case, I'm going to say this particular race, great. You know, now maybe it might bite us later. I think the one thing you got to think about is if a guy has a flat tire, he has to have an opportunity to change it. So because if I got in that position, it would just ruin the race for you. So right. I think there's certain things that they're going to have to take a long look at and then make some changes.
Well, you did a great job today, and we're real pleased that all of you guys could come up. It's a little windy, a little cold up here, but I got a feeling there'll be a celebration tonight.
Giant celebration. No problem with the cold. I love it.
Good run today. All right, we're going to take this time out, and we'll come back with highlights from yesterday's Goody 300 when we return to Daytona.
This engine's being slowly destroyed because at startup, oil's in the pan, not in the engine, causing 70 to 80% of mechanical engine wear. Use Slick 50 and you treat the engine, not the oil. It creates a slippery coating that can protect and reduce wear for over 50,000 miles and help improve performance, increase gas mileage, and reduce operating costs. Slick 50 engine treatment, because starting your engine is a terrible thing to do.
Davey Allison believes. Mario and Michael Andretti believe. Don Prudhomme believes. You get out of a car what you put into it. Haviland Superior Grade.
All of these championship-winning drivers have one thing in common. Goodyear Racing Eagles. The race-winning technology that's found in the Goodyear Racing Eagles can also be found in the world's best-selling line of high-performance street tires. Goodyear Eagle Street Radials. The champions know, and it's why we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
Catch 90 minutes of racing excitement from start to finish on the American Sports Cavalcade. The American Sports Cavalcade. 7 Eastern Sports Sundays on TNN. Saturday, March 2nd, 1 p.m. Eastern. Sunday, March 3rd, noon Eastern. TNN cameras roll live at The Rock. The Goodwrench 200. The Goodwrench 500.
March the 2nd and 3rd, NASCAR comes to TNN.
Wow. A weekend of live NASCAR racing at The Rock. Live from Rockingham, North Carolina. The Goodwrench 200, the Goodwrench 500. March 2nd and 3rd, only on TNN Motorsports.
Welcome back to Daytona Beach, everybody. Yesterday, the Busch Grand National season got off to a wild start. And here with the highlights of a bruising Goodies 300 is Mark Allen.
Tennessean David Green was the third rookie in the last 4 years to sit on the 300 pole. He and front row mate Jack Sprague had just a handful of super speedway races under their belt. The start was clean enough, but by turn 3, chaos erupted. 16 cars were involved, but even with Bobby Labonte's oil fire, thankfully, no one was injured. Within a few laps after the restart, Jimmy Spencer got together with Dale Jarrett, and another 5 machines were added to the casualty list. NASCAR penalized Spencer 1 lap for this incident. Before the race was 20 laps old, 15 cars were in the garage, and a number of others were out there to accomplish little more than satisfying the sponsor. It wasn't long before Dale Earnhardt and Davey Allison moved to the front. The strongest cars on the speedway belonged to Earnhardt, Allison, Michael Waltrip, and Ken Schrader. Despite a long stretch under green, the 4 remained bunched closely on the money lap. With Earnhardt uncatchable, Allison had his hands full with Waltrip, who was going to get second or wreck trying. He got second. In the final rundown, Earnhardt successfully defended his Goodies title. Second was Waltrip's best at Daytona. Then came Allison, Ken Schrader, and Harry Gant. This is Mark Allen reporting for TNN Motorsports Magazine.
You can see extended highlights and interviews of the Goodies 300 and the Daytona 500 on Inside Winston Cup Racing next Sunday right here on TNN. Don't go away. We've got a lot more to talk about concerning this year's Daytona 500 when we return.
Sometimes, without any warning at all, cars and trucks quitting before their time, before their owners get the most out of their investments. Maybe they don't know about AC Delco, a full line of auto parts designed with proper maintenance to help your car or truck last. Maybe they should. AC Delco. It's like buying time.
Do yourself proud, make you look beautiful, do it for yourself with Minwax and Wood.
Get beautiful color with Minwax Wood Finish and lasting protection with Minwax Polyurethane.
So do yourself proud with Minwax and Wood.
Most do-it-yourself books tell you how to start projects. The Minwax Tips booklet tells you how to finish them, refinish them, spot repair them, and take care of them easily. Call 1-800-44-STAIN now for your free 30-page tips booklet.
Now you can get Lee Takes Command from Time Life Books' monumental series, The Civil War, for just $4.99. I'll be back to tell you how.
In The Civil War from Time Life Books, you'll read why our country went to war against itself. You'll understand the cause and see the effects on the field and on the home front. Beginning with Lee Takes Command, yours free to examine for 10 days, to keep for only $4.99. And with your purchase, receive the Civil War Almanac free. Get both sides of this great and tragic story in Time Life Books' Civil War.
Call now for your free examination of Lee Takes Command. If you decide to keep it, pages $4.99. That's $10 off the regular price. Other books will follow about every other month on the same free examination. Buy only the ones you want, cancel anytime. So dial this toll-free number now. We're waiting for your call.
Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway, where today the Daytona 500 was run, and Ernie Irvan, just over my left shoulder way back in the distance, is somewhere in the press box right now addressing all the media on a day that dreams are made of for a race car driver to have a chance to go to victory lane here at Daytona. Rejoining me on the set is Motorsports Magazine's Mark Allen. And Mark, you know, Ernie, like Derek Cope last year, was in the right place at the right time to win the Daytona 500. And I'm sure that a lot of conversation will be, well, if that last wreck hadn't happened, you know, Davey Allison was going for it, Dale Earnhardt was going for it, Kyle Petty was right there. But, you know, this is racing, and racing is they're going to pay that guy that gets the first checkered flag, that gets it over the stripe first. And for that, I've got to salute Ernie Irvan and what he accomplished today.
Well, patience was the story, because in many respects we weren't paying a whole lot of attention to him during the race. Yes, he was a top 10 car, but we were watching the black cars, Dale Earnhardt, Davey Allison, of course, Kyle Petty, who led so many laps of the race. One interesting note that I thought from the race was the Pontiacs came on so strong. Kyle Petty, a dominating performance through the middle laps of the event. Rusty Wallace was running very well. Daytona is not usually a good Pontiac Grand Prix track, but they've certainly found something here at the new nose and the tail on that Grand Prix.
Well, one thing I have to comment on, because is you talk about such strange events that occur. For Dale Earnhardt to hit a seagull, of all things.
Unbelievable.
Just out of it, you would never in a million years even dream it, but for him to hit a seagull and to have that front left nose damage at the first of the race, you know, you just ask yourself, well, is he just jinxed from winning the 500? Because he won everything else there was to win down here.
Well, look at how many years Darrell Waltrip came to Daytona before he finally won it. 17 times before he won the 500. Now look at the last few years. We've had Darrell Waltrip, a first-time winner. We've had Derek Cope, a first-time winner. Ernie Irvan, a first-time winner. So this track is spreading the wealth around, if you will.
All right, one last comment on the confusion portion of this thing. I tend to believe that we're learning a new way of pitting cars, and that it was done in the interest of saving people's lives and protecting people, and that we should not be quick to judge whether or not today's confusion was all attributed to the new rules.
Well, clearly NASCAR had to do something, and after meetings over the winter with NASCAR officials, with car owners, with crew chiefs, they came up with this system. They said when they instituted it that they would fine-tune as necessary, and they saw some situations today that they will review. The confusion, I think, as we said earlier, was more in the fans' eyes because they didn't understand the blue sticker for the even-numbered cars or the orange sticker for the odd-numbered cars, and that's going to take some time for them to figure out which cars will be coming into the pits when. It's a new system for the fans as well as the teams.
All right, hang around for just a minute. You know, we cover all forms of racing on TNN Motorsports Magazine, and unfortunately, the stars of the NHRA Series did not get to race today at Firebird Raceway as scheduled. This morning we spoke with John Force, and we talked to him a little bit about being the #1 qualifier, but they had a problem with the racetrack. And earlier today, I spoke with Charlie Allen, who is one of the racetrack owners, and I asked Charlie just point blank, you know, what is the problem?
Well, the main reason we had to postpone the race is because 2 weeks ago we replaced a section of concrete on our starting line, and the reason we did that was there's been a little bump in the left lane right off the starting line in this track for a number of years. Up to now, it's really been insignificant, but we had a test session here a month ago, and some of the new cars, with the way they're running the clutches, it really has become somewhat of a factor. It would have been a factor this weekend. We want to give the fans, the racers, a perfect racetrack, so I made a decision 2 weeks ago to replace about 50 feet of the starting line.
All right, Charlie, what have you got to do to get it ready for next weekend? What's got to happen?
Well, they're in the process right now. I don't know if you can see the cameras or the tractor behind us, but we are digging up the 50 feet that we put in 2 weeks ago. Gonna put in some high-tech concrete. Next weekend, we're gonna have a perfect racetrack, and we're gonna give the fans everything that they deserve with a great race.
All right, Charlie, thank you very much. We wish you a lot of luck in getting it ready.
Thank you, Pat.
All right, recorded a little earlier today, Charlie Allen. We'll remind everybody that Firebird will have its show next weekend, and Mark Allen, John Force, fastest qualifier out there. Darrell Alderman's on a roll. He, pro stock-wise, was qualified up front, and Frank Hawley also having a good showing out there. I know those guys don't want to sit out a week, but nevertheless, you know, the drag racing season begins to pick up out there.
And they're showing that momentum that was built up at the end of last season toward championships is carrying over into 1991, and in the case of John Force, he will, pardon the pun, be a force to be reckoned with.
And I think there was a lot of talk about how many funny cars would be out this year in HRA, and they had a full field at the Winter Nationals in Pomona. And from what I heard, there was a full field as well scheduled to compete at Firebird. So apparently, while a lot of people talked about the fact that funny car was dying out, it appears that no, that's not so, or at least not in the early portion of this season.
Well, we see new faces come on the scene. Now, Jim White and Roland Leong's Hawaiian Tropic Machine is not a new face necessarily, but Glenn Mikers, who was top qualifier at Pomona last week, is not a name that's necessarily familiar to a lot of drag racing fans. So it's like anything else. When other people move or step aside in the natural transition of the sport, new faces come in.
Oh, we've had a great weekend in Daytona, a great week here in Daytona. That's all the time we have for this week. We'd like to thank all of our guests, from Kyle Petty to Mark Allen, Bill Hennessy, who was with us. Of course, Joe Ruttman also up spending some time with us this afternoon, and Sterling Marlin, a great run for him, finishing second in this year's Daytona 500. That's going to wrap it up for all of us at TNN Motorsports Magazine for our afternoon edition. We'll see you back next Sunday right here on TNN.
Saddle up, partner, and join some real cowboys as they head to the Astrodome for the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. It's an annual celebration as big as the state of Texas, with your host, Mike Snyder, and country star Tanya Tucker. Fairs and festivals, the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, Wednesday, 8 and 11 Eastern on TNN.
Motorsports fans, hold on to your seat. Get ready for Supercross thrills, spills, and chills. This new home video is packed with the most outrageous and unbelievable moments in Supercross. We'll put you smack in the middle of the action with Jeff Ward, Rick Johnson, Damon Bradshaw, and other Supercross stars as they battle wheel to wheel. From start to finish, it's the best of the best. We've put together the most spectacular spills, the highest flying, hardest driving, berm-busting, handlebar banging action ever on one home video. Let your VCR bring the most exciting entertainment on two wheels into your living room. There's never been anything like it. Supplies are limited. Order now.
Call toll-free 1-800-238-9300 or send check or money order for $19.95 plus $3.75 shipping and handling to Supercross, P.O. Box 10030, Stamford, Connecticut.
Great American Outdoors, Saturdays at 11 on TNN.
Nestled in a spectacular rainbow of changing fall foliage is Lincoln, New Hampshire. Once the lumber capital of New England, today it caters to vacationers who come to experience the change of the seasons. Hi, I'm Ed Bruce, trucking along New Hampshire State 112 through the glorious New England foliage. We're in a caravan with some local truckers. Up ahead in his customized 55 F100 is Steve Pierce, professional upholsterer. He invited me out here today along with some other show trucks he's helped customize, like Pete Harris's 81 VW truck, Brian Nault's 4x4 Ranger, Ed Smith's 55 F100, and Paul Terrio's 89 GMC Sportside. Of course, with trucks as good looking as these, you know we'll be taking a close-up look at each one later on. And we'll take in some of the spectacular scenery as well. What more could you ask for? How about Bobby Archer's tech tip? Bobby, I understand you have some advice on taking care of your truck for the changing of the seasons.
Well, Ed, as the leaves turn, it's time to think about winterizing your truck. My tip today will be about cooling system maintenance and protection for both summer and winter.
Okay, Bobby, we'll check with you later. Now let's check in with our partner, Jim Bridges, and see what he's up to. Jim, where are you today?
Well, Ed, today I'm going to have a report that'll spark the interest of any truck enthusiast. We're actually going to take you into a spark plug factory, show you how to get the maximum performance from your spark plug. We'll have that in our report a little later on.
We're on our way to Conway, New Hampshire, and we're taking the scenic route. Fall foliage is a major industry in these parts, and I can see why. There are a lot of ways to enjoy your truck, and this is one of them. Being part of a caravan with great-looking trucks like this. Take Paul Terrio's, for example. It's a 1989 GMC Sportside Sierra SLE. Paul lowered it 6 inches and added some other interesting touches, like a tonneau cover, racer back and Lund lighted visor. Customizing can get expensive, but Paul knows how to get the most for his money.
They want a low budget, and they want quite a bit of money for a stainless steel grill. And a friend of mine up in Maine mentioned the door edge molding, and I tried it and it looked good, so I stuck with it. Every show, I just put new molding. It cost me $12, and there's about 32 feet of molding on there, and it takes me a long time.
Nice truck, Paul. We've got some more good-looking trucks in this caravan, and we're going to show them to you later. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Truckin' USA.
Brought to you by GMC Truck. It's not just a truck anymore.
Basically, trucks are used for 2 reasons, hauling and towing. And for that, you need power. And the Sierra from GMC Truck has the most standard horsepower in its class, which gives you the hauling and towing strength you need. Plus, for 6 straight years, the full-size pickup from GMC Truck has retained more of its original value than any other in America. Sierra, powerful and durable. GMC Truck, it's not just a truck anymore, it's quality on the road.
When every second and every part counts, you can rely on world-class Key Parts Auto Stores. You'll always win with our inventory and prices. To get you there and back again, Super Winch has the right winch, tie-down, recovery strap, and locking hub. Personalize your car or truck with GT Styling's Composite Bug Guards, custom acrylic headlight covers, and GTS Blackouts. For your nearest Key Parts Auto Store, call 1-800-453-4000, an associate of Keystone Automotive Warehouse.
I used to have dandruff, so I tried Head & Shoulders. Then I tried Selsun Blue. Blue is better.
Selsun Blue relieves dandruff flaking better than Head & Shoulders, and doctors recommend it more than Head & Shoulders, Denerex, and Tegrin.
Blue is better.
Selsun Blue.
Pure water is the birthright of every living thing, and it's worth fighting for. Join TNN and your local cable operator in their water conservation project, Pure Water, Pure Country.
When it comes to extraordinary action from the world of motorsports and fishing, TNN continues its unprecedented coverage.
with American Sports Cavalcade, NHRA Today, Inside Winston Cup, Bassmasters, and more. Only on TNN Sports Sunday. This is TNN, the heart of country.
Welcome back to Truckin' USA. Here's a glance. It seems pretty straightforward, but there's really a lot more to a spark plug, especially in truck applications. And to find out more, we're at the Southern California manufacturing facility of NGK. I'm with Bill Olison. He's the manager of technical support services at NGK Spark Plugs. And Bill, although it seems pretty simple, actually a spark plug's pretty critical to an engine's performance, isn't it?
You bet, Jim. For an inert object that has no moving parts, a spark plug plays a critical role in an engine's total performance, more than just producing a spark.
Well, you go to an auto parts store, even just looking at the spark plugs that we have out in front of us, NGK sure makes an awful lot of spark plugs.
NGK has been a world leader in the development of spark plugs for over half a century. With advancing technologies and materials available to us, we have designed spark plugs to produce maximum combustion efficiency.
Well, just what is maximum combustion efficiency?
That's the plug's ability to convert raw fuel into horsepower, minimize fuel loss, and minimize emissions.
So efficiency is the key?
Very much so.
Pretty important in today's changing environmental and technological situations.
That is true.
Now, NGK is known as an innovator, so we want to know what's new for our truck-owning viewers.
For the domestic vehicles, domestic engines, we have developed the V-Power design.
What makes your V-Power different?
If you'll move these out of the way, I'll show you on this model.
All right. Pretty big spark plug here, Bill. I don't think I got a socket that's going to fit that.
Yeah, this was for big block Chevys.
Okay.
Just as in our standard plugs, the V-Power features a high alumina content ceramic insulator to provide superior insulation resistance. A solid copper core, the copper that NGK introduced to the automotive market in 1958.
Why copper?
Copper is shown to be a superior conductor of electricity and dissipator of heat. This gives a broader range of operating temperatures. Double compression gaskets guard against compression leakage. A slender tapered insulator nose for better self-cleaning properties. The thing that really makes this different is the V-groove in the firing electrode.
What's the difference with your V-groove?
Good question, Jim. Let me explain by removing the tip from this model. In a conventional plug, the electrode is flat. The spark is formed here in the center. Now, as the energy radiates out to ignite the fuel-air mixture, a given percentage of it is lost back into the metal. Therefore, it can't ignite the fuel-air mixture. This is referred to as the quenching effect. This results in a higher incidence of misfire because there's less energy to ignite the fuel air. And our NGK V-Power with the patented V-groove, the spark is formed here on the edges rather than in the center. Thus less metal to reabsorb the energy, thus less energy lost back into the metal. This results in a higher combustion efficiency that we were talking about earlier.
So you end up burning all of the fuel and the air mixture. You get a little bit more power, probably a little bit less of an effect on the environment, too.
Not all of the fuel, but a much higher percentage than with a conventional tip plug.
Well, besides misfires, another problem with spark plugs is pre-ignition, isn't it?
That's true, Jim. Pre-ignition occurs when the fuel air mixture is overheated and ignites prematurely. NGK plugs are designed to combat this with two ways. First, the insulator nose is a pre-calibrated length to only absorb a certain amount of heat before it's dissipated to the shell and then off to the cooling jacket. Also, the copper core will absorb and dissipate the heat more quickly.
That helps to determine your heat range.
That's true. It gives us a broader range of operating temperatures.
Geez, after looking at all the features of your spark plug, I'm sure that much like any automotive technology, there's a high degree of precision involved.
That's very true. The whole manufacturing process starts with something as simple as a coil of steel. The raw metal is pressed and extruded into the basic shape of the spark plug shell. Then it is finish cut to the specific dimensions for final assembly, threaded and stamped with markings. This is where it all comes together. The ceramic insulator and copper core assembly is inserted into the metal shell. Then the gaskets, O-ring, and sealing powder are added. The process is monitored by electronic fail-safe sensors to assure that all the components are included and assembled correctly. At this station on this machine, just as in all of the NGK spark plug factories around the world, each and every spark plug we build is electronically test-fired to assure the buyer that our plugs will fire right from the start.
So every plug we get has already been test-fired at the factory. That's good to know.
That's right, Jim. Additionally, each plug is inspected and must pass our high-quality standards, the same levels required by the world's leading engine manufacturers.
Really interesting for what initially looked like plugs. Thanks for having us out, Bill.
You're welcome, Jim. Stop back anytime.
We'll do it.
All this beautiful foliage is part of the White Mountain National Forest, the oldest national park in the United States. Established by Teddy Roosevelt in the late 1800s, it covers 760,000 acres. It encompasses some of the most magnificent mountain and forest scenery in the East. Here in the White Mountains, the trees are getting ready for winter. American mountain ash, yellow birch, sumac, sugar maple, and witch hazel are just a few of the species that grace these mountains with their vibrant colors of autumn. There are some rustic surprises all along the canyon, like this old covered bridge. With the unpredictable New England weather, you can see why they had to cover them. This one obviously has been well maintained and is still in use. Now let's go to Bobby Archer for his tip on radiator maintenance.
Today's tip falls under the heading of back to basics. Some people believe the old adage that more is better, and for certain situations that may be true, but not when we're talking about radiator additives. Coolants or antifreeze have been formulated to work at a precise mix level. If you don't use enough, you run the risk of overheating in the summer or freezing in the winter. But adding too much will not give you any more protection. In fact, once you go past the prescribed ratio for maximum protection, the effectiveness begins to diminish. So when it comes to radiator additives, follow the advice of the experts. It's printed right on the bottle. And don't overdo it. Oh, one final tip. A good quality antifreeze or coolant will help protect against rust buildup. But even so, if your truck's a few years old, it should get a total flushing of the cooling system every so often. It'll work wonders.
The year was 1957. Ike was in the White House, and America was enjoying itself. We swooned over Elvis and rocked around the clock. Fast food and fast cars were the new entertainment, and the 57 Chevrolet Bel Air became America's dream machine. Recognized as a classic, the 57 Chevy remains one of America's most sought-after cars. No automobile in history more perfectly represented the wild, carefree spirit of its time. And now, the Danbury Mint has recaptured that spirit in this meticulously engineered die-cast metal replica of the 1957 Chevy Bel Air convertible. Truly a legend you can hold in your hands, this exquisite replica is a masterpiece of craftsmanship. Its body, chassis, drivetrain, and engine block are all crafted in heavy die-cast metal. The body hand-sanded and painted, oven-baked, buffed, then painted and baked again. More than 150 parts are inspected, then hand-assembled. When completed, it's hand-waxed and inspected once more before delivery. Meticulous in every detail, doors open and close. The hood lifts, revealing its history-making 283 cubic inch V8. Why, even turn the steering wheel and the front wheels respond. Perfect in every detail, from its golden grille and headlamp eyebrows to its sweeping tail fins and backup lights. From the undercarriage, more authentic detail, right down to the spare tire well. This extraordinary replica is available exclusively from the Danbury Mint and is not sold in stores, yet it is priced well below what you'd expect to pay for a replica of this superb quality. So use your credit card and call this toll-free number now. We'll send you your car and charge your account just $29.50 a month plus shipping for 3 months. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. Call now to bring back those precious memories with your replica of the 57 Chevy Bel Air convertible, the car that personifies that free spirit of the 50s.
Call now. The number is 1-800-767-1300. That's 1-800-767-1300.
Welcome back. Mark Davis of Kansas City, Missouri has gone all out with custom paint, chrome, and interior to create a truck that must have taken a number of first-place trophies over the years.
No, not really. It's really my first car show. Hopefully I get a good, trophy out of it and go to many more.
Fooled me, Mark, but I think your truck's a winner. Good luck. And now back to Ed Bruce.
Welcome back. The Presidential Mountain Range is one of the major scenic attractions in this part of New Hampshire. It includes Mount Washington, the highest peak in the Northeast. Can you imagine what the view must be like from the top of Mount Washington? Steve, this is a pretty area here. What do you call it?
Well, Ed, this is a scenic vista off of the Kangamangas Highway. We're on the Swift River called the Rocky Gorge area.
Beautiful. You get a lot of tourists here, don't you?
Yes, we do.
I noticed when we pulled in the parking lot up there, you had a lot of people gathering around your trucks.
Well, Ed, we're very proud of our trucks.
Let's take a closer look at them. Ed Smith's 55 Ford F-100 is a step-side that features an 86 Corvette motor and digital Corvette dash. The front has been lowered 4 inches. He's added Krager wheels and an interior by Stephen Pierce. Steve, your truck won 1988 Hot Rod Super Nationals Truck of the Year. It began life as a 55 F-100 Ford pickup, right?
Yes, Ed.
When'd you get it?
Well, Ed, I bought the truck in 1980. And over the course of 5 years, I've modified the truck.
What all have you done to it?
Well, I've chopped the top 4.5 inches. I've extended the wheelbase 9 inches. I installed Corvette suspension front and rear. I modified the front of the truck, sectioning the nose and the mouth opening 4 inches. The outside of the truck has no door handles. It's a smooth truck, as they call it.
Beautiful truck. Thank you. What kind of power?
It's powered by a 1967 462 Lincoln, 360 horsepower.
Transmission?
Transmission's a C6 Ford automatic.
Who did the interior? That's fantastic.
Oh, thank you. That's my own doing.
Okay.
I'm an upholsterer by trade, and I hand fabricated all the interior components for the vehicle.
It's a great truck.
Thank you very much.
All these trucks are good examples of how you can personalize your vehicle. Now here's another one. Today's trucking tip. Now here's this week's Suspension Spotlight, brought to you by Rancho Suspension. Here's Brad Moore.
Let's face it, modifications to your suspension don't just make your truck ride better, they can also change the way your truck looks. At Rancho, we know that engineering quality suspension systems that give your vehicle better control and seat-of-the-pants feel isn't enough. So, we've got components that look as good as they work. Rancho's new chrome shock absorbers will catch everyone's eye. And they've got the same Rancho quality and performance that we engineer into every shock we make. Add new Rancho stickers in any of these flashy colors to tell the world you know what's hot. Our dust boots come in 10 distinctive colors to either coordinate with your paint job or add a splash of contrast. Our heavy-duty polyurethane bushings don't just come in flashy colors, they give long life in areas that take lots of punishment. And of course, you can look as hot as your truck with Rancho apparel. Remember, Rancho offers quality suspension components with a splash of color.
Brian Nault's 83 Ford Ranger 4x4 sports both a custom hydraulic tilt nose and tilt bed. It features a 302 V8 engine, C4 automatic transmission, a Dana 20 transfer case, and a convertible top. Brian always wanted to customize a truck, and he told us he really took his time in selecting this particular one.
Basically because not many people build mini trucks. That's why I wanted to go with the mini truck of the Ford Ranger. So that's the reason for that. And it's just something I've always wanted. I've liked trucks that I've seen before, magazines, car shows, so I decided to build one of my own.
You did a great job, Brian. It's definitely a one-of-a-kind creation. Stay with us for more Truckin' USA from beautiful New Hampshire.
88, 89. For 6 straight years, the full-size pickup from GMC Truck has retained more of its original value than any other in America. That's why sales of the Sierra are growing faster than any other full-size pickup. And we intend to keep it that way in 1991 with these new Sierras. And in 92, GMC truck. It's not just a truck anymore. It's quality on the road.
Now, get special incentives on new Sierras.
Looking for an exercise system that's fun, fast, and guaranteed to work? Here's Phil Tyne, former conditioning coach of the San Diego Chargers and Olympic gold medal volleyball team.
The Power Band system tones, shapes, and firms. We show you exactly how to use Power Bands, and they're guaranteed. They work on hips, thighs, and stomach. No weights. The complete workout is on a 30-minute video. Can't use the video? Use this wall chart. Take them anywhere. You get Power Bands, the video, the chart, all for only $29.95, about the cost of a video. Guaranteed for 3 months.
If I wasn't sure Power Bands worked, I wouldn't put my name on them.
Another Shape Shop product from Dynamic Classics.
For rush delivery of your power bands and video, use your credit card and call 1-800-842-4444 or send $29.95 plus $4.95 shipping to Power Bands, P.O. Box 10030, Stamford, Connecticut. Or call now 1-800-842-4444.
How's the fishing on TNN Sports Sunday? It's like hooking a trout in a mountain stream or fighting a largemouth on the tournament trail. It's peaceful and scenic, heart-pounding and heartwarming. Whether spending the day with a fan or sharing the spotlight with the pros, TNN Sports Sunday knows where the fish are biting, and we take that fact to heart.
TNN, the heart of country.
When it comes to extraordinary action from the world of motorsports and fishing, TNN continues its unprecedented coverage. With American Sports Cavalcade, NHRA Today, Inside Winston Cup, Bassmasters, and more. Only on TNN Sports Sunday. This is TNN, the heart of country.
Welcome back to Truckin' USA. Well, the mud was everywhere. The Turlock Fairgrounds, the site of the Stanislaus County Fair in Northern California. One of the fair's most popular attractions was the Mud Bog, organized by our friends at John Borba Presents. And as the slow motion shows, the only way not to get bogged down in the mud was to fly over it. Looks like a fun event. And thanks for sending us the footage. Now from flying mud to falling leaves. Back to Ed Bruce.
Gankomegas Highway is beautiful. Check it out sometime. Now it's time for our Viewer's Truck of the Week. Larry Noble of Grants Pass, Oregon, sent these pictures of his '79 F-150. It features 21 inches of lift, 44-inch tires, 400 cubic inch engine, a 4,000-pound dump bed, triple-double roll bar, chrome double-tube front and rear bumpers, custom-made trusses and ladder bars, and underneath, everything is chromed, including the wheel wells. Thanks for sending these photos, Larry. We'll be sending you a Truckin' USA t-shirt. It's beautiful here. I hate to leave, but I'm coming back. Thanks to Steve and Paul and Pete and Brian and Smitty. Keep on trucking, guys. For all of us here at Truckin' USA, I'm Ed Bruce. Have a good day.
If you have any questions about today's show, call 213-207-3515. Now here's something of interest for automotive enthusiasts.
For 7 seasons, Diamond P Sports' award-winning American Sports Cavalcade Series on TNN has brought you a wider variety of motorsports than any other, and with more cameras than you normally see. And it's because of the talented people who man these viewfinders, Diamond P has been able to produce an exciting new video entitled, And They Walked Away. Incredible crashes from stock car racing, motocross, IMSA and SEC road racing, NHRA drag racing, Eastern modifieds, even swamp buggies, and more. To get your copy of And They Walked Away, send $24.95 plus $3.50 shipping and handling to the address on your screen. Or better yet, call 1-800-453-9300. Visa and MasterCard accepted, no CODs. Call now 1-800-453-9300.
Brought to you by GMC Truck. It's not just a truck anymore.
The American servicemen and women deployed in Operation Desert Storm are half a world away from their homes and families. As the weeks pass, the distance and loneliness increase. You can help. Send a first-class letter to any service member. Operation Desert Storm, APO New York 09848-0006 or FPO 09866-0006. Let them know they're in our hearts and prayers.
Capture the romantic age of motoring with the classic Gazelle. FiberFab International recreates the vintage 1929 Mercedes-Benz SSK. Build your dream today with the affordable classic Gazelle. Call 1-800-328-5671 for more information on the special offering of the classic Gazelle and other timeless classics from FiberFab International. Call now 1-800-328-5671. Imagine the exhilaration of driving the 1952 MGTD, a perfect recreation by FiberFab International of the vintage MGTD. Now you can build your dream today and own the 1952 MGTD at a very affordable price. Call 1-800-328-5671 for more information on the special offering of the 1952 MGTD and other timeless classics from FiberFab International. Call now 1-800-328-5671.
Trucks and Tractor Power, 12 midnight Eastern on TNN Sports Sunday.
Road Test Magazine with Big Daddy Don Garlitz and Larry Black. Today's show is brought to you by Aerofoil, the leading edge in wiper technology, the new aerodynamic blade from Triton. By Excel, world leader in performance ignition parts, spark plugs, and fuel injection components. And by Key Parts Auto Stores, your local source for savings on quality brand performance parts and accessories.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Road Test Magazine. I'm Larry Black.
And I'm Big Daddy Don Garlitz. Today on Road Test, we'll be taking you for a test drive in the most futuristically styled family van on the market, the new Pontiac Transport SE.
And we'll go behind the scenes at the Performance Racing Show in Nashville for a look at some products that someday may find their way into production cars. And we'll get a chance to see how Chrysler's radical new technology-packed hypercar, the Dodge Stealth, stands up to its peers.
And if you're wondering why we've got this dragster in the studio, it's on loan from world champion Joe Amato. And it's more than just a studio prop. Believe it or not, we'll be testing this 4,000 horsepower top fueler in a special show scheduled for later this summer.
It'll be a special showdown because we'll also be interviewing Joe on his 1990 World Championship victory, his Key Auto Parts Store organization, which joins Road Test as a sponsor, and his involvement in Team Valvoline's Say No to Drugs campaign.
Until then, let's get underway with today's show. We'll be right back after these messages.
It takes teamwork to be a three-time Top Fuel World Champion and to be a world-class Key Parts Auto Store. Whether you need traditional, off-road, or high-performance auto parts and accessories, you'll always win with Key Parts' 486 major product lines, inventory, technical assistance, convenient locations, and competitive prices. For your nearest Key Parts Auto Store, call 1-800-453-4000, an associate of Keystone Automotive Warehouse.
For high performance that doesn't stop when the rain starts, Aerofoil is the first true aerodynamic blade. At speeds as low as 50 miles an hour, the wind can cause your wiper blades to lose direct contact with the windshield. But Aerofoil's wind channel ports, aerodynamically engineered like an airplane wing, create the downward force needed to counteract wind liftoff and maintain the ideal rain sweeping pressure. For maximum wet weather visibility when you need it the most. Aerofoil, the leading edge in wiper technology.
When my customers ask about tune-up parts, I tell them, if you've got an everyday car, everyday regular replacement brands work just fine. But if they're driving something special, I recommend high-performance Excel tune-up parts, like their new extra-thick 8.8 millimeter wires and their super-performance U-groove spark plugs. So if you want a performance tune-up, get the parts that perform. Excel.
Available at quality parts stores coast to coast.
Tomorrow morning, experience a new high. Introducing Mountain Fresh Dial with a scent so big, so bold, so bracing, it's right up there with your peak experiences. New Mountain Fresh Dial.
I used to have dandruff, so I tried Head & Shoulders. Then I tried Selsun Blue. Blue is better.
Selsun Blue relieves dandruff flaking better than Head & Shoulders, and doctors recommend it more than Head & Shoulders, Denerex, and Tegrin.
Blue is better.
Selsun Blue.
Today's segment on the Pontiac Transport SE completes our series of tests on each of GM's new plastic-bodied vans. The Transport is more stylish than its sister van, the Chevy Lumina and Old Silhouette, but it suffers from the same ailment, a lack of power. Road test reporter Kathy Costi explains.
The coming out party is over, and now the Transport is settling into its second year as part of Pontiac's lineup. There are very few significant changes for 91. The exterior styling, which was described as radical and futuristic when first introduced, remains, as does the trim package, the base Transport, and our test vehicle, the up-level SE. The Transport is once again built on a steel space frame substructure. Body panels are of composite plastic material, great for absorbing minor dings and for fighting off rust. Those familiar heat-repelling solar windows are also back for 91. And of course, the large windshield and long nose that some drivers will still find takes some getting used to. But don't get me wrong, 1991 does mean some change and some improvement for the Transport SE. A stainless steel exhaust system has been added. The 15-inch wheels are an inch larger. The outside mirrors are not only bigger, but now power. And a roof rack has been added to make up for the lack of cargo space. Only 11 cubic feet when all 5 rear seats are in place, but a roomy 89 cubic feet with the seats removed. Speaking of seats, for 1991, the Transport SE offers a new seating option, which includes 2 comfortable bucket seats in the front, as well as 5 plush modular seats in the rear. Each rear seat weighs only 34 pounds and is very easy to remove from the van in a matter of a few seconds. Other interior options on the Transport SE include power door locks and windows. A flat tire, certainly not what you look forward to when you're cycling. Now, this might require a trip to the gas station for repairs, but not with the Pontiac Transport. And that's because the vehicle comes with a pump, a hose, and a gauge. Now, it's perfect for repairs like this, or if you're at the beach and you need air mattresses inflated, it's very convenient. And it won't cost you anything either. It's standard equipment on the Transport. Additional standard equipment on the Transport SE includes a leather-wrapped tilt steering wheel, cruise control, AM/FM stereo, and air conditioning. The Transport is fun to drive and has all the creature comforts necessary for any long trip. It also gets fairly decent gas mileage, an EPA estimated 18 miles to the gallon in the city and 23 miles per gallon on the highway. The biggest criticism I have of the front-wheel drive Transport can be found under the hood. It's powered by a 3.1-liter fuel-injected overhead valve V6 engine. The motor and the 3-speed automatic transmission are not suited for the Transport. More power is definitely needed. The engine cranks out 120 horsepower at 4,200 RPM and 175 foot-pounds of torque at 2,200 RPM. Pontiac apparently agrees the Transport needs more guts. Plans call for a bigger engine and a 4-speed automatic transmission for 1992. But for now, customers will have to settle for a family van that crawls from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 14.1 seconds and records a quarter-mile time of almost 20 seconds at about 69 miles per hour. Although it may take some time to reach highway speeds, once there, the Transport offers a quiet, smooth ride. In the braking department, the Transport is both impressive and disappointing, coming to a complete stop from 60 miles per hour in only 132 feet. But our test vehicle lost some stability under the hard braking conditions. The 1991 Transport SE is competitively priced at about $18,900. Our test vehicle, containing a few options, lists for close to $20,400. All Transports come with a 3-year, 50,000-mile powertrain warranty. Thumbs up to Pontiac for a nice-looking, plush, comfortable family van that handles well. Thumbs down for the lack of power the Transport deserves and the lack of storage space. Perhaps Pontiac would be wise to consider offering its customers an extended version of the Transport. For Road Test Magazine, I'm Kathy Costia.
The base price of the Transport SE is $18,889. Extras on our test model include an option package with power windows and door locks, 6-way power driver's seat and rear defogger for $975. The rooftop luggage carrier adds $145, and the 7-passenger seating option is $110. And if you buy these options, Pontiac offers a $700 discount for a total bottom line price, as tested, of $19,410.
Pontiac does need to correct the power problem by offering a bigger V6, at least as an option. And a 4-speed automatic or this otherwise good van won't make it in the fiercely competitive van category.
Well, a group that does know America wants more power are the folks at the Performance Racing Industry Show. You'll see what we mean right after this break.
Love classic sports cars? Now you can win one in Road Test Magazine's $35,000 sports car sweepstakes. Call now or write to win the Sebring MX, Classic Roadster's reproduction of the legendary king of the British sports cars, the Austin Healey 3000. Enter as often as you like, featuring a sculptured fiberglass body, genuine leather bucket seats, removable hardtop, real hardwood dash, and chrome superior wheels with Pirelli tires. The Sebring MX is the ultimate classic sportster. All it takes is a phone call for your chance to win this custom sports car. And it's powerful too, with a ported and balanced 350 horsepower, high-energy RHS Chevy V8 engine and B&M Performance transmission. Call and enter before March 31st for the chance to put this legendary sports car in your garage.
That's Hank Williams Jr. Hi, I'm Ralph Emery, and I'd like to tell you about All American Country, a new 5-record collection from Sessions that has 50 of the biggest country hits ever. Just listen.
Do me with the love. Whatever happened to old-fashioned love? How come you're feeling so proud when your love's on the line? Baby, I like faking love like nothing.
You'll also get Roseanne Cash, Willie Nelson, The Judge, Waylon Jennings, T.G. Shepherd, Merle Haggard, George Jones, and Reba McEntire.
I can't even get the blues no more.
All American Country has the finest collection of hits I've ever seen on one album. Remember, all 50 songs are the original full-length hits by today's hottest country stars. Here's more.
You want a man with the soul hand. You can't run from love. Baby, what about you? Still you wonder who's cheating who and who's being true. Well, I was born to run, but then we was swinging. He got you. Kansas City light.
You can also get All American Country on 8-track or cassette tapes. Your choice of 5 records or 3 tapes for just $19.95. Here's how to order.
Credit card and COD customers call toll-free 1-800-257-0800. That's 1-800-257-0800. Or save COD fees by sending $19.95 for 5 records or 3 tapes, plus $4 postage and handling to All American Country, P.O. Box 10030, Stamford, Connecticut.
Catch 90 minutes of racing excitement from start to finish on the American Sports Cavalcade. The American Sports Cavalcade. 7 Eastern Sports Sundays on TNN.
Well, it was natural for us to want to cover the performance racing show here in Nashville, especially since my co-host Big Daddy Don Garlitz got invited to speak at the Innovation Breakfast. Well, I bet reporter Dave Emanuel had fun covering the show. I mean, he loves the racing scene.
That's right, Larry. I'm here on the floor of the 1990 Performance Racing Industry Trade Show, where, as you can see, I'm surrounded by horsepower. We're going to take a look at some of the latest innovations in high-tech, high-performance products. But first, let's go over to the breakfast that opened the show with a record-setting 1,300 people in attendance.
It's your combined power that makes this industry something else and something unique. Thank you very much for being special and making this show special.
Show director Steve Lewis greeted the crowd, and then he introduced the keynote speaker.
Let's give him a nice ovation, Mr. Don Garlitz.
Well, we do have a full house.
Don entertained the audience with stories and talked about the latest developments at his Museum of Drag Racing. Then it was on to the show. If you're a racer or performance enthusiast, walking through the show was one of those kid-in-a-candy-store experiences. You could feast your eyes on things like intriguing race cars, custom wheels, gauges and tachometers, welding equipment, fuel injection systems, street roadster chassis, high-performance camshafts, and a drag race simulator for testing starting line reflexes. But one of the most surprising displays was at the Excel booth. Excel has long been known as a manufacturer of high-performance ignition products, but the company is now offering sophisticated fuel injection systems. I questioned sales manager Don Sell about Excel's entry into the fuel injection business.
Well, the reason Excel got into fuel injection is to tie the fuel injection in with the ignition. Engine management systems is what it's all about today. So we coupled up with a famous engine builder, John Lingenfelter, and Excel has the electronics, and together we come up with the engine management system, which is made up of our big block and small block systems for Chevrolet engines.
The unique aspect of the Excel systems is that they are completely programmable. All you need is a personal computer, and you can completely customize the fuel delivery curve over the engine's entire operating range. You expect fuel injection to be sophisticated, but a windshield wiper seems about as sophisticated as a hubcap. Not so, according to Tim Craig of Trident Incorporated.
The big difference between the aerofoil and other wipers is that we take the wind and we use the wind to create a downward force on the wiper itself. Most aerodynamic windshield wipers will have holes in the top, let the air pass through, and as a result, there will be no resistance. With the aerofoil, it takes that wind, creates a downward force, and keeps the windshield wiper on the windshield itself at speeds over 85 miles an hour.
Installation of the aerofoil is a breeze.
In order to take off an old windshield wiper to put on a new aerofoil wiper, you're talking about less than 2 minutes per blade.
Our next stop was at Competition Cams, where we learned about a new high-tech rocker arm.
That's correct. These are available both in a 1:5:2 ratio, which is slightly overstock, and a 1:6, which is a great deal overstock to increase the lift.
They're also designed to compete with the aluminum. We're trying to provide the racer with the ability to have the advantages of aluminum because it's light. The reciprocating weight here actually is 5% lighter than aluminum, but it's got the strength of steel.
Most of the parts we've seen here today at the Performance Racing Industry Show are designed for racing. But like this high-tech vibration damper, you may find a few of them show up on your next new car. After all, the rearview mirror was first used at the Indianapolis 500 way back in 1911. For Road Test Magazine, I'm Dave Emanuel.
Larry, I enjoy attending shows like PRI because they provide a first-hand opportunity to see new component technology.
And a good example of the application of combined new technologies is the new Dodge Stealth Twin-Turbo RT. Now, this new fighter jet from Dodge is the subject of our next test that will start right after this.
When my customers ask about tune-up parts, I tell them, if you've got an everyday car, everyday regular replacement brands work just fine. But if they're driving something special, I recommend high-performance Excel tune-up parts, like their new extra-thick 8.8 millimeter wires and their super-performance U-groove spark plugs. So if you want a performance tune-up, get the parts that perform. Excel.
Available at quality parts stores coast to coast.
In my 23 years of professional racing, I've learned how to get the best performance from a car's engine. Hi, I'm Neil Bonnet. In our professional race cars, we don't need to use Restore because those engines are continuously being rebuilt. But I do use Restore in my family cars. Restore is made for older cars with high mileage. Restore's patented formula fills in scratches, boosts compression, reduces oil burning, and restores power. Putting your life back into your car with Restore, it works.
Her real name was Brenda Gale Webb, but she became famous as Loretta Lynn, Brenda Lee, or Crystal Gale. Think you know? Call 1-900-FUN on TNN and test your knowledge of country music trivia. You could win great prizes. Each call costs 95 cents per minute.
Keep track of the hottest country acts around by calling 1-900-FUN on TNN. Your concert connection to your favorite country stars. Find out who's performing when and where. Each call costs 95 cents per minute.
To stop this problem, you could just pick all the pollutions up. It's important to have clean water because if you didn't have water, you wouldn't survive. You'd be like the dirty Dan, the dirtiest man in the world. Well, to solve these problems, you could write a letter to the governor, to the president, maybe the secretary, the vice president.
A public service message from TNN.
Climb aboard the General Jackson this week for Nashville Now, featuring Mike Snyder, Jerry Reed, the Kendalls, John Hartford, Mel Tillis, Barbara Fairchild, and Margot and Holly Smith, live this week on Nashville Now.
Love classic sports cars? Now you can win one in Road Test Magazine's $35,000 sports car sweepstakes. Call now or write to win the Sebring MX. Classic Roadster's reproduction of the legendary king of the British sports cars, the Austin Healey 3000. Enter as often as you like, featuring a sculptured fiberglass body, genuine leather bucket seats, removable hardtop, real hardwood dash, and chrome superior wheels with Pirelli tires. The Sebring MX is the ultimate classic sportster. All it takes is a phone call for your chance to win this custom sports car. And it's powerful too, with a ported and balanced 350 horsepower, high-energy RHS Chevy V8 engine and B&M performance transmission. Call and enter before March 31st for the chance to put this legendary sports car in your garage.
When you talk about new sports cars, comparisons with benchmarks like Corvette and Porsche are unavoidable. Reporter Chris Bungard was there when Dodge rolled out their new Turbo Stealth.
No, it's not your imagination. You've been looking at 3 cars, 2 of them very familiar. But this is a story about the third one, the one that's designed to be like the other 2 and maybe a lot more. The people at Dodge want to show you that a high-performance, fuel-efficient car is not a contradiction in terms. That's why they took this new Stealth through a nationwide tour that tests it against some of the biggest names in the car business. One of the places the people at Dodge brought their new Stealth in intercooled turbochargers. It kicks out 300 horsepower at 6,000 RPM and 307 foot-pounds of torque at 2,500 RPM. The power was an eye-opener for driver Terry Earwood.
When we let the clutch out and started accelerating, the car just continued to pull through its entire RPM range. And that's
of fuel efficiency. The Stealth RT gets 23 miles per gallon on the highway and 17 miles per gallon in the city. Off the straightaway, the Stealth RT is extremely well balanced with its revolutionary all-wheel drive and all-wheel steering. Rack and pinion steering guides the front wheels at under 30 miles per hour. Beyond that speed, a special hydraulic actuator triggers in-phase rear steering to stabilize the car when it's driven to the limit. The power-assisted brake system keeps things under control. It consists of 4 large vented discs, aluminum 4-piston front calipers, and single-piston rear calipers. An ABS system is also standard on the Stealth RT. All this makes the Stealth a user-friendly, high-performance sports car. Just ask Terry Irwood.
And I'm at a point in my career, I need a forgiving car. I feel like a lot of us need a forgiving car. If we make a teeny mistake, I don't want the car to reach up and say, gotcha.
The Stealth RT may not do that, but it's still fast and fun. The $30,000 price tag may steer some people away, but not if they are looking for a performance vehicle at a bargain rate. Dodge hopes this kind of value makes the Stealth RT the sports car to watch in the 90s. Chris Bungard for Road Test Magazine.
The RT's a lot of car for a reasonable base price of only $29,595. Now, you add the only options, leather seats for $843 and the CD radio for $424, and you end up with a total as-tested price of only $30,862. Its technology and competitive price makes the RT best value among all of the 91 sports cars we've tested to date.
That about wraps up our show for today. Visit with us next week when we'll test the latest 4-door, 4-wheel drive GMC Jimmy Sport utility and Mazda's latest version of their 929 luxury sedan, the 929S Performance model. We'll also feature NASCAR star Bill Elliott's pride and joy, a 1937 rumble seat Ford replica from the folks at Gibbons Fiberglass.
I like that one. For my co-host, Big Daddy Don Garlitz, I'm Larry Black, and we'll see you next week.
Today's show has been brought to you by Aerofoil, the leading edge in wiper technology, the new aerodynamic blade from Triton. By Excel, world leader in performance ignition parts, spark plugs, and fuel injection components. And by Key Parts Auto Stores, your local source for savings on quality brand performance parts and accessories.
Merle Haggard, George Jones, Johnny Cash, and those were the people we listened to around my house when I was a kid, and they were straight ahead country. He Stopped Loving Her Today is probably one of my all-time favorites, simply because every time that song is played, it brings back strong emotions. I travel all over the country, and people come up to me and say, hey, we saw you on Ralph Emery's show, or we saw you on Crook and Chase, and it lets me know that people are watching.
The 34 Classic Street Rod. It's hot, available, very affordable, fun to drive, easy to assemble. Call 1-800-CLASSIC. For more information on this special offering of the 34 Classic Street Rod and other timeless classics from Classic Motor Carriages, call now 1-800-CLASSIC. The power and grace of a thoroughbred. The Classic Speedster. The exhilaration and speed of the Classic Speedster C. Build your dream today. Own a Classic Speedster at an amazingly affordable price. Call 1-800-CLASSIC. For more information on this special offering of the Classic Speedsters and other timeless classics from Classic Motor Carriages, call now 1-800-CLASSIC.
Hidden Heroes, 12:30 a.m. Eastern on TNN Sports Sunday.
Diamond P Sports presents the American Sports Cavalcade. excitement. The American Sports Cavalcade. The Outlaws. Wing Sprinters. Real man stuff. Even as remote-controlled miniatures on asphalt, they're exciting to watch. The Quarter Scale Nationals, a prelude to the real thing on dirt, on our annual visit to Sprint Car Heaven, Knoxville, Iowa, for the Skull Shootout. Nowhere do the fans yell louder and longer than they do here at the Marion County Fairgrounds.
Hello, everyone. I'm Steve Evans. And you know, Knoxville Raceway does strange things to drivers, even superheroes like Sammy Swindell, whose pit area I'm standing in. Now, Sammy, as we've shown you many times, always gives it 100%. But here at Knoxville, in front of these very knowledgeable fans, even he digs a bit deeper. Witness the parts he has assembled out of the trailer for one night of competition. Now, you expect all the fuel jugs and jack stands and tools, but an entire rear end, an entire front end, exhaust headers, not one, but two wings and a front wing, and maybe the topper, a complete spare engine with handles on it so it can be lifted into the chassis. But I'm a little worried about Sam. He's always been a positive thinker. A spare helmet? Sammy, I hope things go better than that tonight. Earlier on, there was qualifying. Here's Brock Yates to tell us who's hot.
Well, Steve, as usual in an outlaw competition, some are hot, some are not. Tonight, really interesting foursome, though, in the top four qualifiers. 2 young lions and 2 veterans. Earlier, I talked to all 4 of them. Doug, some surprises in qualifying. You got a couple of young kids running real good.
I'll tell you, they've been running real good all along. Mark Kinser's actually been as faster than Steve, his teammate, all season long qualifying. And the last couple of weeks, Stevie Smith has evidently got a good handling setup going with him and a good motor, because he qualified real good. In fact, set a track record Monday night down in Granite City, Illinois, so I knew he'd be good. Bobby Allen always qualifies good no matter where he's at, so I figured coming in here tonight that we'd probably be right in there about 3rd or 4th or 5th, because we haven't really run that strong qualifying most of the season. I think we run 70 starts and got fast time once, so. But that's not the whole race. We'll have to work a little harder as the night goes on.
Well, first of all, Mark, congratulations on quick time here. It got to be an impressive showing with a bunch of outlaws like this to run as quick as you did. And I know you've been running real strong up to now, but again, congratulations. Thanks.
You want just the rear drive wheel in that cushion, not the whole car in that loose dirt, because it's just like you're on ice. First the rear end, then the front end. The front wing knocked off the automobile. You saw that on the right-hand side of your picture, and ooh, there was about another $200 nudge into the wall. So other than some bent-up suspension and some wheels possibly, Horton is okay, and it won't take a whole lot to fix this car. These are very durable machines, and that kind of a brush with the wall is just considered, well, part of the fortunes of outlaw sprint car racing. No big deal, I'm sure Horton would tell you, who is right now with Brock Yates. Brock?
Well, David, I know you got to be disappointed. What happened?
It's going off in a turn, steering broke, and just slammed me right into the wall.
Nothing you can do when you lose that whole thing.
No, I've got power steering fluid all over me right now. It's just one of them deals, I guess. Tear up a lot of stuff.
Well, as long as you're okay.
Yeah, we're fine.
Okay.
I told you, it's just one of them deals. Well, David explains the problem. It was a lack of steering. And even for an outlaw, that'll really ruin your evening. We'll be back to Knoxville for the restart of heat number 2.
Is this the way people see your smile? He can't do anything about those teeth, but you can. Now there's Dazzle, the incredible tooth whitener that gives you a movie star smile the very first time you use it. Look, food dulls your teeth. Dazzle brightens them like this. Coffee yellows your teeth. Dazzle makes them pearly white. Smoking stains your teeth. Dazzle gives them exciting new sparkle. Ordinary brushing just gets rid of food particles and surface dirt. But Dazzle reaches deep down within the enamel to lift out stains and years of discoloration. It's an all-natural treatment that's proven safe and effective. Just follow these 3 easy steps. First, rinse your mouth for 15 seconds with this refreshing conditioning pre-rinse. Then apply this oxygenation gel with an ordinary cotton swab. You'll actually feel this amazing formula work, whitening and brightening. The finishing touch is this polishing cream that gives your teeth that high gloss gleam and leaves your mouth refreshed. In less than 5 minutes, you'll have the dazzling smile you've always dreamed of. Teeth as white as this dentist's model. It's the perfect example of how your teeth should look. And with Dazzle, it's how your teeth will look. Movie stars have paid thousands of dollars for a smile this bright. And you've seen other tooth whitening systems for as much as $50. But Dazzle is yours now for only $14.95. That's right, forget $50. This dazzling smile is yours for the incredible low price of only $14.95. Save COD, use your credit card and call now.
To order, have your credit card ready and call 1-800-942-4300 or send check or money order for $14.95 plus $3.50 shipping and handling to Dazzle, 2000 American Way, Roanoke, Virginia, or call now 1-800-942-4300.
Back at Knoxville, Iowa for more World of Outlaws Skulls shootout action. We've got 1 lap to go to green after they cleaned up the David Horton crash. Bobby Markham continues to lead, but Tommy Esther Jr. in that 97 has been really moving, Steve, as has Bobby Allen, who started in the back row.
The guy I don't envy is Ricky Hood, the number 39, the yellow car, back in that 5th position. To get a transfer spot, he's got to try to pass Bobby Allen, and that's never easy.
You got it. Green is out as we watch Bobby Markham lead him down into turn number 1. There's Tommy Esther Jr. in the red 97, but Bobby Allen has already jumped past Tim Monson to take over third.